Hey crafty friends, Zainat Kessler here with 12 cards of Christmas, and today we're creating a mixed media card. I want to start by creating the icicles that are going to go on the card. I have here a piece of acetate and a piece of parchment paper. And I'm using glossy accent. I'm using both these materials because I want to try and see which one is the best. So what I'm doing is basically drawing with the glossy accent an icicle on the acetate. I created a line, a horizontal line, and now the drops of ice. And then I have some glitter, some white glitter that I'm going to put on the glossy accent, so the ice is going to be nice and shiny. And actually, I think it's not a parchment, it's a freezer paper. Or it's a wax paper. I don't really know the name. It's all I can tell you is that that big paper is sort of a waxy paper that you would maybe wrap your sandwiches in. So I don't know if you call it wax paper or freezer paper, but it should be waxed. Okay? So I'm just going to get rid of the excess and put that aside to dry. So this is one. Just going to put that back in the little container, and I'm going to create another icicle on the wax paper, and then I'm going to see which one works the best. A horizontal line, and then little lines, little vertical lines that are going to be the droplets of ice that are dripping and freezing midway, and then we'll have a beautiful icicle. Again, putting some glitter on top of that. So glossy accents are basically a 3D glue that can be covering things to create a glossy finish. You can create shapes like this. You can create little circles and make them into pearls. It's a really very versatile thing to work with. It's actually clear dimensional medium. About drying. Now the thing is, it dries fairly quickly, but we don't need it to dry, we need it to cure. That means it should not just be dry to the touch, it should harden and cure and be stiff. And this takes overnight. So please wait overnight and come back and see the continuation of the video. Now this is a few hours have passed, it's morning, and now I have a craft knife here, but I don't think I'm going to need it because this just peels off the wax paper. See how easy that is? And it's very hard and very stiff, and it looks great. And it also comes off very easily. Don't even need the knife. Just fold the acetate and oops, it comes off really quickly. So it works great on acetate and on the wax paper. So just use whatever you have. So I have here the card and a credit card, a very old plastic card that I'm using to spread around the acrylic paint that I have. I'm going to use a little different colors, not green and red, but I'm going to use blue and red because blue reminds me of ice and snow, and I wanted to do things a little bit differently. But if it really bothers you, you can do it with green color as well. So I'm just using the plastic card to spread the color around randomly. There's no pattern or something. And I have here some gesso, or you can use white acrylic paint. And I'm just spreading it over this paper I'm working on, a very medium thickness layer, and a circle stamp. And I'm going to use the gesso like ink and load my stamp. See, I don't care, it's very random. I don't care that not all the circles are covered and not all of them are covered in the same amount of gesso. That's the idea. And randomly I'm going to stamp my circles on the card, so they'll look like little tiny snowflakes, if you will. So this is, I'm going to do this again because I need more gesso or paint, depends on what you're using. It's the same thing basically. And I'm just adding the circles randomly here and there. And it looks like a really big mess right now, but trust me, it's gonna look fabulous. I'm gonna teach you the trick how to tie everything into one uniform look that looks very professional. First, you take your finger or a brush or a sponge and use the gesso to just add little bit of white around the empty spaces where there is no color or stamps, and slightly overlapping the areas with the circles and the colors and the paints. So that begins to tie things together and give it a more cohesive look. But what I want to do now, first of all, we need to dry everything, of course. You remember when you're working with mixed media, in between layers, the best thing to do is dry everything so you won't get a big mess. So once everything is dry, I want to keep using the white gesso, but I'm adding a little bit of color to it. So the gesso is now going to be like white paint and dilute the blue paint and basically create a very light blue. You can do this again with white acrylic paint. So now I'm doing the same thing I did with the gesso, I'm doing with the light blue. And again, this adds another hue, another shade of the same blue, only lighter. So that helps me tie everything together. And I'm just adding it here and there, partially covering the paint, partially covering the circles, and partially covering the empty spaces in between them. Again, dry it all with your heat tool. Now finally, what I want to do is add a little bit of water. Now this doesn't dilute the color, it dilutes the transparency of it. So we still have the same color, but it's much more transparent because of the water. Okay, so this way it only partially covering all that is going on the card. Okay, so that is different than creating a lighter shade. Here we are creating a more of a transparent color or paint. And this allows me to cover all the card without covering the pattern itself, without hiding it. Okay, so now the background is ready. I have already added my two icicles, just plain glued them down to the card and the number 24. And now that I'm thinking about it, I want to create a frame around the card, and I'm using just my finger with some paint. The paint is still darker, remember, because we added all that gesso and lighter blue and transparent color, so that gives it a nice definition around the edges. So dry everything, and then I'm looking at the number 24, and it occurs to me that it needs to be 25. You can tell that I don't celebrate Christmas, right? Sorry about that, you guys. If you don't know, I'm Jewish. That's why I don't celebrate Christmas, not because I don't like it. Anyways, so 25, that's the right number, that's the right date. And I'm going to take a red pen, just a regular pen, whatever kind you have, and write the DEC, which is the short for December. You probably know that. So December, 25th of December, we all know what happened on that day. What is happening on that day? So I think my card is ready. I really liked how it turned out, and I'm just going to get rid of everything here so you can see it without all the distractions around. And I think I'm going to take my red pen though and just doodle a little bit around the corners, just lines, not very straight lines, just to add a little bit of red on the frame too. That balances things out and looks really good. So there we go. This is our mixed media card. If somebody tells you you can't have mixed media cards for Christmas, then you can do this card and prove them wrong. Really nice. And of course you can create so many icicles and use them on other cards or other Christmas crafts or canvases or winter projects or whatever you want. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and visit my website einatkessler.com. You'll have the link at the end of the video. I want to thank everyone for watching and all the kind words that you are commenting and writing to me during this 12 Cards of Christmas 2015 series. And make sure to tune in daily to find out what more cards we're gonna create. So thank you very much, you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow.